Everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Christine Gets the Spritely Release Art live in a very last minute fashion. So, if you're not familiar with what we're doing here, this is the. Actually, yeah, I'm probably adding horrible noises to the stream because I don't have a great setup here, and so it's very easy for me to bump my microphone. Um, uh, I don't know how other people manage a Wacom tablet and also their like microphone on like an arm or something like that. Um, at any rate, we have this pixel art here. But if you've been tuning in previously, you might have noticed I was working on this instead. So this is the artwork that is going to be in the Goblins release for the Goblins plus Hoot releases that are coming up. I've been doing a couple of live streams showing off as I've been making this artwork. It's not finished, as you may notice. There's parts that aren't colored in. But also very critically, there's actually very little shading on this. And so the final version will be a lot less flat. It'll be a lot more shaded. But at the moment, I am going to be working on this pixel art. And what I kind of wanted there to be two pieces of artwork. I wanted there to be a pixel art that accompanies this release also because the Hoot release artwork has traditionally been pixel art. And so I thought it might be nice if we had something, and I wanted these two things to be connected. Actually, if you look off to the side, so let's sneak in this image. If we sneak off to the side, you'll actually see there is a drawing of the goblin and the owl considering and talking to each other. And originally, this goblin had a backpack, and that got removed actually from this image, the character's backpack. You can still see the straps there that I haven't removed. Maybe those will stay. But it's not a central part of the figure anymore because she got hair. But anyway, I was originally considering doing this one in Blender plus Grease Pencil also. But I thought it might be nice if they looked pretty different but were part of the same story. So the story here is that the Hoot release is going to come out probably a day before the new Goblins release. And the new Goblins release will be the first one to actually run on top of Hoot. And hence, the goblin literally riding on top of the Hoot owl. But, I wanted this sense of adventure that, and, the predecessor to flying would have to be them having a conversation about flying and them wanting to go on this adventure. And while you can't see a giant scary castle off on this side here, there must be some sort of reason for them to want to go on this adventure. And since we're doing pixel art, I thought it would be fun to kind of do this, like, this kind of the style that you see in a lot of video games where, like, the Bowser, like, big bad is kind of like creeping over the castle. And so the scene is mostly the same scene from just a different perspective. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a difference in terms of like the tops of these mountains are stylized differently. But that's actually not completely a mistake. There's different styling in here slightly between the two versions. One thing you might notice is that the owl looks a little bit different. This owl looks a little bit, I wouldn't say realistic, but, it's closer to something realistic than the other one. The eyes are different in that, like these eyes, it's not clear whether or not it's kind of bugged out eyes or if there's like circles around it. And in fact, the original Hoot artwork had these kind of closed eyes, and it wasn't clear if those were big, like circles around the eyes or if those were actually the eyes themselves inside of there. And I think that's actually something that's kind of nice in that ambiguity. So one thing you'll notice about this artwork is that there's actually only two colors in it. There is a light color, this kind of light, almost white, the slightly off-white, and then this very dark blue. But there's actually really four colors. It looks like there's five, but there's actually four in this palette. So we've got this darker kind of purple here, this lighter kind of pink color, this white. And this is kind of the... we could call it the, I guess sometimes I've been jokingly thinking of this as the sort of transgender, sprightly transgender, like vapor wavy color scheme that I've kind of including in a number of different things, including in a Spritely thing. Here is a logo I did for the conference Decent Social, which has this little witch, and you can actually play this little animation, and she's kind of like bobbing up and down, and she blinks, and it's almost the same color scheme, not quite, right? So I'm going to be going with one of these two color schemes here. Either we're going to go with the one that we used in the Wire World version of things that we did for the Spritely Institute, or we're going to do the Decent Social one. But so one way or another, it's going to be kind of similar to one of those. So there, since we haven't really gone very far in there, that's one of the first decisions we're going to have to make is what the colors are going to be like. And we are going to stick to 4 colors. Now this one right here is actually just used for it's the mask color. It's just simply used to have transparency. So if you you can see what this does if I turn off the background, and like weirdly, like it's a little bit. So you can see that I actually did things a little bit wrong here. If all is correct, oh, you know what? It's not doing it now. This is supposed to erase things, and like I keep forgetting how that functions, because now this is no longer erasing things, it's just adding another off-white color. I'll have to revisit that, but anyway, I guess for right now I'm just going to do replace color of index 0 to the mask color, and that'll wipe that right out. And yeah, I don't really remember how to make that mask thing work right, or how to make it not work, because it would be fine to also work without it. But regardless, what we're going to be doing is just having 4 colors. So what, now we have to choose between those, right? So the Decent Social one's got this kind of light purple and this kind of blue. That might be kind of nice because it has this very strong differentiation between the two. So why don't we? Whereas the Hoot one here kind of has just two variants of this purple, right? I think we could get a lot more done if we had 2 different colors. So I think I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to go here and I'm going to do load palette, and I'm going to jump out to see Weber, GFX Misc, which is where I've got my stuff, sprites, not to be confused with Spritely, Decent Social. I'm just going to load that up, and it's going to change my color scheme right over. So now I actually think I want this one to be slightly. I might change what the light color is to make the light color a little bit brighter. I forget how to do that. There is a. See, I'm not very good at this sort of thing. Oh, edit color. There it is, right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to move the. We've got the hue, saturation. I don't know why they call it B, but we're going to bump it up. Brightness probably. And there we go. And 99. That's a little bit brighter. I'm not sure if that's the right decision, but that's the decision we're going to go with for right now. Now let's try this, right? So now that we have that color, this one's I'm going to name this layer. I'm going to call this outlines, and I'm going to name this other layer. I'm going to create a new layer. New layer, and call this one. Oh shoot, what should we call it? I think we're going to call it just the color. We're going to call it base colors. So we'll put this underneath the outlines, and we're going to figure out some of the base colors here. So now that we have this color set, for instance, the mountains, you know, we could have be kind of this purpley color, and we can choose how much we want them to be, you know, colored in. Like, so for instance, it might actually be kind of nice if it was, you know, like if there was some level of texture to this mountain where it really didn't feel like it felt like there was some stone or something like that, right? You know, so that gives that some more character. And so let's do that over here too. I think that looks pretty good, right? You know, we've got some character. It's not fully filled in. So I'm using a tablet here, actually. We also now have we have space to do the sky. I think I'm going to do the sky as a completely different, a different, different background color. So one of the interesting challenges might be, how do we want to do the water versus the grass, right? Because we've got, so the water is pretty clear what we want to do because, you know, it's water. So it's going to be mostly this blue, and we kind of want it to be shimmering a little bit, but without looking messy. And that's going to be challenging to do. Maybe I'm not the right person to do it. I'm not very good at making shimmery in pixel art with this low of depth. But let's just get an idea there. So already you can see that adding these colors is already allowing us to kind of differentiate different parts of the scene in a way that's kind of interesting. Also it kind of looks like it's reflecting clouds or something by doing this, and we do have some clouds. And this kind of almost has like a little Yoshi's Island like kind of imperfectness to it. If you've ever played that game, I really like Yoshi's Island and how much they kind of run with imperfection in that game. Now, since we're one thing we could do, we could choose to go with something kind of scratchy like this, or like this. Oh, that looks pretty good. So here is a nice way that we can kind of do grass, is we can kind of scratch these lines in, and then we can do a mix of two different colors, right? And then that'll be nice because then it'll look very different from the river, I think. But it'll kind of look like grass, right? The way that grass has strands, right? So I like it here, yeah. Maybe it's a bit messy. I don't know. Maybe it's too messy. Might be too messy. I'm not certain. Feel free to give your opinions. How messy should this be? How do we make a nice grass? That's interesting. The effect of kind of going over it and then going over it again. It's actually kind of leading to some nice scratchiness. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure, but it's okay because we can change it if we don't like it. So continuing with the scratchiness, and then what I'll probably do is I'll probably add shadows underneath these characters. But I want to get that feel for whatever this is going to be down. Now this is starting to look like, if you've ever seen those 90s, do you remember that 90s cup, right? That's one of the other inspirations for this palette, was that famous 90s cup. They had that disposable cup you'd see everywhere. We want that nice disposable cup feel here. Actually, it's looking pretty reasonably good. Just, you know, taking one pass over with the two colors and then one pass over with erasing them has added some nice grass like zigzags where you can feel where the lines were, but it doesn't end up being too much of any of them. I like that. So we're gonna go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Now, to kind of clearly delineate where these characters are, give them clearly defined shadows. so you can kind of see the standing. Maybe I don't like that. Might do that on a separate layer. It's possible to undo far enough. How much undo does Libre Sprite give me? Let's find out. Okay, enough. All right, so we'll do shadows on a separate layer, and we're not going to worry about them yet. Which means we have to figure out how to do that back here, but it's got to be a little bit more sparse, because this area doesn't deserve as much detail since it's off in the distance. Doesn't deserve as much detail. If you want a detail, you shouldn't have been so far away. All right. You know, in retrospect, I probably could have done that whole thing with just little green lines. And that would have been better. Debating my decisions. Debating my decisions here. I do feel like this is too much. So now you're seeing me anxiously change my opinions in real time. So what I'm going to do, actually, since I'm being anxious about this, and I really should have done this on different layers for some of these different things, I'm going to just duplicate this. I'm going to hide that one, and then on this one, I'm just going to simply erase it. All that hard color work I just did. Oops. And then we're going to try it. We're going to try one more thing. Now, maybe this is boring, seeing me go with an idea and then completely throw it away, but this is the real shit right here. Trying a thing and then deciding you don't like it and trying a different thing. There's nothing more true to the artistic process than that. True story is true stories. Okay. All right. So now we're going to try reducing this all the way down to 1, and we're going to try just a try smaller. Wow, maybe I don't like anything anymore. Ugh. You know, this is how I am with my artwork. Extremely persnickety, full of self-doubt. No good reason. Well, maybe for good reason. Maybe it just looks better without any of this crap. You know? We're doing one more thing. One more thing, I promise. I'm not going to keep debating this forever. The one more thing. Just gonna accentuate these. Ooh, okay, that's it. That's what I like. Accentuating these guys. That's the one. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so accentuating these is giving enough character without it looking too messy, I think. You know, the blades is pretty good. I do like the grass blades idea, but I think I'm going to run with this. I feel pretty good about what I just did right there, and I don't want to debate it too much forever, because I can see, if you can't tell I can kind of debate with myself forever. So now I'm going to get this little forest back here. Make it absolutely clear it's a forest, because you see different colors for the leaves and the trunks, right? That's how you know it's a forest, right? So let's see. That looks pretty good. And we can do just, and then okay. I think that looks pretty reasonable there. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now this door needs some more character to it. Needs to look like it's a, you know, it's got lines there, like it's a, got wooden planks. So I think alternating those colors there looks pretty good. I'm going to do a trick where if you alternate colors of the darker colors, it looks like you've got some kind of more differentiated shading, and we're going to use that to do the shading on this castle in general. So the darker areas are going to use the purple. The lighter areas are going to use the blue. And then I've debated, should this guy actually just, you know what? Yeah, never mind. I answered all my questions. That's what that guy should do. Right? That guy should be, I actually like him being pretty dark in general, and then he's just got this purple part right here, and the eyes, and then two nostrils that are like that, and then he doesn't need anything else. It's perfect. Monster perfection right there. Okay, maybe you don't think it's perfect. I think it's as good as I need it. That's the real thing. Actually, these ones will look better with the purple for the windows, I think. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So, pretty good. We're off to a good start here. Yeah, and then that, we just need to make it look like this guy's casting a shadow. Make it really clear that this character is indeed a character. There we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think we've got the castle now. And let's see here. The Hoot logo. So if you look at the Hoot here, I want to actually kind of follow the same pattern where I use the darker one and then the lighter one, and just this lighter part around these. So let's use I've decided this one's the darker one, whether or not that's true. It goes out a little bit further. And then lighter one here. Just kind of ringing it. That makes the thing jump out a little bit. Maybe it doesn't look too good up there, actually. Maybe it's too bold right here. Yeah. Good enough. We don't need to spend forever on this. This does not need to be design perfection. it's faster to do it like this. Just fill in the lighter part, and then you come back around for a second pass, the darker part. You can do it all at once. One big pass. And there we go. Right, let's zoom out and see how this looks. Looks pretty good, except for up here, which looks not very good. You know, that's because we didn't follow the very rule I had set down. Just said up here, we would just use the lighter color, like that. I think that's all it needs. Maybe just a touch like that. That's pretty good. It's pretty good enough. Pretty good enough. A classic assertion. Pretty good enough. Okay, now that I've done a large portion of the unimportant things, I guess let's do some of the important things. Let's do... Oh no, I'm going to keep doing the unimportant things. I don't know why. I feel compelled to. Because then I can procrastinate on doing the hard work, I guess. Okay. Ooh, I should do that with these two. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's good. All right. Looking pretty nice, I think. We still don't have kind of the blue sky up there, but we'll worry about that in a moment. We're going to work on the main character. Yes. Main character is at last. So this character should have this kind of nose. So the nose actually should be primarily, I'm going to say, I'm going to make a new layer, which is outline color. I'm not going to use this technique too heavily, just a bit, for the nose at least. For the nose is primarily this color itself. You know what? I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. We're going to ignore everything I said. We're going to just color this in. Ah, that looks so much better. Sometimes I think something's going to work out. It just absolutely does not. It's okay. That works, so. There we go. Now this character has kind of this little stipple pattern. Is that the right word? And it's actually more explicit in the new artwork here. And so I want to run with that. These kind of dots represent the owl spots down there, but also kind of adds a little bit of dithering. So it's a little bit more like dithering right here, and then I'm actually gonna maybe even mix in, give that level of depth for the dithering. Okay. And this character's actually has kind of a purple tinge to it, but we're not showing that off too much. because we don't have that much room to work with. Pixel art is so sparse. Gotta be careful. You can really mess it up if you try to do too much. I think the character is looking okay. Looks like the character is blushing now, doesn't it? Drop these. Except for that one. No, we'll drop that too. It's okay-ish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oops. Remember how I said I don't like the outline color thing anymore? Well, I've changed my mind. I do want a little bit of outline color. And, there you go. I think that looks okay. Yeah, it looks better like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. The owl looks reasonably good. And now for this character. Well, she is largely purple. But shading is complicated. Something like this, so oh no. Oh no. Let's do that on the wrong layer. Okay, there we go. Fixing it. No. Screwed that up too, didn't I? Oh, now it kind of looks like her teeth is showing. Maybe that's not bad. That's a mistake, but some mistakes are good. Hey, Dave. I see you joined the stream. Trying to figure out how to do this characters. I think I gotta dither it a little bit. Yeah, I gotta do some dithering. Maybe that works. Maybe she should just be... Maybe just go all purple on here. I don't know. Like the more I do it, the more I just cover her in purple. It's okay, I guess. What about some blue for dithering? Oh, that's actually pretty interesting. Okay. Now what are we going to do for her hair? I guess her hair is probably something like this. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable. on this layer? Nope. This layer? What layer did that happen on? What layer is this here? Why can't I override this one? No. No. Why is it just impossible to draw in that area? It won't let me. Oh, it is here. Okay. I really just spread this across multiple... Okay, there we go. There. I think that looks pretty good. All right. Undo that once again, putting things on the wrong layer, and I don't even know if I want that. Do I want a tone separation here? No, it's not going to be clear. I think her hair has to just be two-tone, blue and white. We're going to really need a because we're going to need a differentiation for her skin. So these goblins, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off in the pixel art. Or, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this blue to do it. I guess that's what she's going to be. They have two tones on their skin. They have one. This is something David Revoix did in the original Goblin art, and I really liked it. These kind of like colored pointed tips. I want to preserve that aspect to these characters. All right. Getting close. Getting close. So I think here, I'm just going to let the light be that white there. But this jacket is otherwise colored in. Yeah. Since we need to differentiate the color here, we'll have the shadow for the hair. Even though I said I wasn't going to do this, we do that with just a slight amount of dithering. And I think we can do that actually right here. We can do some shading along the edge of the hair just to differentiate between these two spaces. I don't really consider myself to be a very good pixel artist, but I think I can make things work. If you are enjoying this or have thoughts on the process you've been observing so far, curious if anybody has anything they want to say at the moment. Feel free to speak up in the chat. I don't know if anybody's really paying attention. It's okay if people are not. I kind of want to fold their clothing. I think that looks pretty good. And then under her skirt. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty solid. Oh, hello. A new person. Reimu, I think. I don't know if I got that right, but welcome. Nice to see you here in the chat. So I think this is looking pretty good. We've got a character that I think looks reasonably like what we want. I'm gonna remove the bottom shading that I did right there. I don't think that looked very good. Thank you, Corsendon. I feel like it as well, and I actually think that this the folds in the clothing here look pretty reasonable. It looks like clothing folds to me. Okay. All right, now these characters, you know what this character needs? There we go on the feet. Also needs, there we go. How does that look compared to the original? Yeah, it's looking pretty similar. So I guess on the original it did have this kind of blushy thing. We'll preserve that. Maybe we'll do that too. It's a little bit too much dither, isn't it? I think it looks better with just the one color. Actually. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the tooth on the goblin, Amy. Oh, I forgot to do her neck. Pfft. Oh boy. Okay. And there should be maybe a differential in shading right here, but you know, I think we're gonna actually have to do it with I wonder if we can dither this. I feel like this whole thing is just me saying the word dither over and over and over again. That's pixel art for you. It's nothing but dithers nonstop. Yeah, how does that look? Sometimes it's hard to tell whether or not things are better or worse than you had them before. Okay, I do think that looks like a better differentiation. Okay. All right. Now we need some shading on this moat around here, and some shading around the castle. I should cast a shadow. Which now leaves us with two things left, just the shadows in the sky, and then we're done. This is looking pretty good. I'm gonna just zooming out and looking at the picture. Yeah, this is pretty nice, I think, actually. Not bad. Okay. So we've got to do the sky, and we've got to do the shadows. So the shading underneath these characters should be really easy. I'm gonna add another. I'm getting nervous at this point of changing things, so I'm going to commit again. I'm going to change, commit. I'm going to say colors on Hoot Goblins pixel are coming along. There we go. Okay. All right, now it's time to do the sky. So before we do that, I'm going to reveal how horrible everything is by turning off the background. Okay. So now we're going to, as you can see, it's that didn't work. I don't know how to configure this tool. So tolerance. Let's try this. Nope. Oh. Opposite. Continuous. What is this stuff? Nope. So apparently the fill tool doesn't work for me. I can't use the fill tool on my stuff. Oh, wait. I need the fill tool to... I need it to be aware of the stuff in the front. I don't remember how... For only to active layers. So if I turn that off... Oof. Yeah, I'm not getting that to work, am I? Okay. All right, so what I'm not gonna try to use that since I'm failing to get the fill tool to work the way that I would like. I'm just gonna manually paint it in. Way too big. I'm gonna paint the edge like this. Now I'm gonna get the details. The reason we're going to do this is that we're going to want to blast in the sky. Behind it. Not having to worry too much. So I want to be able to have it effectively masked out for this color. And oh, Amy, good luck outside. Sincerely. Yeah, I figured it was your dog. Good luck. I hope to you and Leo both. Okay. I can't get that pixel without decreasing the size of my brush. Okay. All right. This shows what an amateur I am with a sprite. I'm sure this is like a 2-second thing to figure out how to do this the fill tool so that it respects other layers, but I just don't know how to do it, and I don't want to look it up right now. I just want to get this done. Decrease this to down to 1 again. Fill it the rest of the way in. So painstaking, so ignorant of technology. But sometimes there's a trade-off between learning how to do something in a tool and just knocking it out and it with your ignorance. And right now, I'm going full ignorance. That's what I'm doing. In a live stream, I can't stop to read documentation. That'd be even more boring than watching me fill this in by hand. So while I fill this in by hand, maybe I should give some trivia. Is there trivia I can give? I don't know if there's trivia. I guess a piece of trivia is that if you've been paying attention to Spritely stuff, you may have noticed that we have had 3 versions of Wire World so far that we have shipped. We have a the first version of WireWorld we did two versions to test out Hoot's tooling. The first one was before we even had the scheme to WebAssembly compiler, and you could it was all handwritten WebAssembly, largely done by Robin Templeton and a little bit myself, and that's what these pixels were for. We ended up using these electron heads, these tails, and then these copper wires. I designed actually some other objects that we could have mixed in to kind of extend the WireWorld stuff. We never really did that. And then Dave did another one that was just that was actually when we had the scheme compiler. That was also the first real scheme program we published. Was the scheme version of WireWorld, much easier to read than the hand WebAssembly version. So that was pretty cool. And then the third version is Circoban, our puzzle game. Is a Sokoban block pushing puzzle game, plus WireWorld. That's 3 versions of WireWorld. And why so many versions of WireWorld, you may ask? Well, it's partly because once we did it once, we knew what the general shape of it was, and also because I pushed for it. But on the first one, I pushed for it. On this, I don't think I had to push for it on the. By the time it came around to the thing that Dave did for the scheme one, actually, I think Dave just ran with it. Like, oh, we should do this updated version. But then, but the original version that Robin primarily did, and I contributed a little bit too. One of the ideas that we had was that, one of the reasons that there's all these little other widgets in there is that we had this idea that we would actually make a music synthesizer out of WireWorld, where you could like hit these, like this would be like this worm would like kind of like yell if you hit it. This might be like a drum, and that like the electron heads would actually trigger the musical instruments. This might be like a little snare. And anyway, that didn't really end up happening, but it was a fun idea. Anyway, okay, I think this is well done enough that we can now do the we can now add the sky. So I'm gonna create that new layer for the sky and move it underneath. I don't know what this one is. Layer 1? It's not doing anything. Yeah, that's old garbage. I remove this one. Layer 2 is sky color. There we go. Okay. All right, sky color. Let's go. LFG. Let's freaking go. Okay, so I think we want this to be a little bit streaky. So let's see. We're gonna turn back on our background. And I don't know. Ooh, the castle is not protected against this raw strokes I'm doing here. Maybe it should, it could look like there's multiple layers of clouds if we kind of left it that way. think that looks kind of good. What do you think? What do you think, chat? This nice design. The sky. I don't know. There we go. Also, hello, Gleneth. Welcome. Nice. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good... I think that's a pretty good shape. I think it feels... To me, it feels kind of Yoshi's Islandish, which is always a compliment in my book, since I'm a huge Yoshi's Island fan. Definitely one of the formative games of my childhood. My favorite part of Yoshi's Island is when you have to fight the slug. Just like keep pushing back it, like firing the things into it. Anyway, that's it. That's a complete aside. What do you think? Do we have a release art? Oh, no, we don't. We don't have a release art. Why? Because we don't have shadows. We don't have shadows. We don't have a release art. So, okay. Here we go. Final part. Okay, shadows. You know? I think the problem is so much actual white base colors that doesn't work. So I gotta put it actually above the base colors, which is hilarious for a thing that you call shadows. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do this at 1 pixels. I want to be precise with this. Might even do this one with the mouse. I normally pixel art with the tablet where I can. This, but the mouse is more precise for me. Just manually dithering this here, I guess. Yeah, I do think this needs to be probably a dithered look. Shadows, or most of it at least. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Definitely. That. That's right, I'm doing this dithering completely manually. And no AE Sprite has tools for it. You can just like sketch in a dither and it'll do the right thing. Am I using those tools? No. Hand drawing this hand drawing this shadow, indicating how little I respect myself personally. Okay. But, you know, one nice thing about that, about not respecting yourself and your time, is that it gives you a chance to think about how you can improve the very manual process you're doing. And I just thought of a nice way to do it, which is for certain parts of this dither, I can alternate some of the blue in there, and that'll look pretty good, I think. So let's see. So now let's try that. As it's closer, the character, the more blue mix into the dither. To make it clearer that this is an area that is a bit darker. Oh, doesn't work. Okay. All right. Very nearly done. You know, we got a real checkerboard dither at the end. That's shows that like I can almost be a professional. Almost. Almost. Wow, look how much that checkerboard dither did though. Looks so much freaking better. Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks incredible. Okay. Final bit of shading. We got a shadow around this rock, which is just here to be a rock. There's no story to this rock, or is there? Is there secret rock lore? This is where the owl keeps its key to its nest under this rock. Nobody will ever figure it out. How to unlock its nest front door. And by that I don't mean a proprietary product named Nest. I would never mean that. Surveillance device. How dare you? Not on my feed. Okay. Oh, that looks pretty good. Dang. We made it. We made it. I think this is success. Yeah. think this is a success. I think we've got a pretty good release here. There's really, I mean, like, there are a couple things that could be improved maybe, like some of these lines are a little bit messy. But, you know, overall, not a bad job. This came together in mere hours. I wasn't even sure if there was going to be a separate piece of artwork for the Hoot release versus the other release. Ooh, yeah. Gotta make the eyes white there. Yeah, that's good. Okay. We did it. We did it. That looks great. That looks legitimately, I think, really good. Hoot 0.6.0. Is there anything left to do? And I guess I could like make this look like it's like a exciting thing around there. But I don't think I want to. I think we're done. We're done. Nice job, everybody. Nice job. I see we have one person in the chat who's got the Reddit Shmoo logo, so I'll say, we did it, Reddit! We did it! Right, yeah, there we go. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I only have one thing left to do. Am I going to do it tonight, or am I going to do it late tomorrow? I'll probably do it late tomorrow. I think I'm going to do it late tomorrow. Still got to finish this piece. Only one thing left to do. Finish an entire piece that is definitely far behind. But we made it. We made it through the pixel art. It's turned to be way simpler, thanks to the power of abstractions and limited palettes and things like that. So I'm pretty happy. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and have a good evening. Take care, everybody.